Hi everybody, I'm Stephanie Parent-Chandler, registered psychologist with Sojourn Psychology at Sherwood Park, and I wanted to bring you a skill today that you might find you might want to try out to use for situations where you feel like you're getting an urge to act in a way that maybe isn't in line with your goals or where you want to go and where you want to be, as well as maybe when your emotions are becoming really overwhelming and you want to change the way that you're experiencing that emotion. So I want to just tell you a little bit today about a skill called opposite action from Dialectical Behavior Therapy. It's a skill that can be really useful and really quick once you get used to using it. And I thought you might be really interested in having this skill to be able to practice. So opposite action. The idea here is that every emotion that we experience has a accompanying urge or action that comes with it. So when we're feeling sad, often what we want to do is just not really a whole lot of anything, and we want to be on our own and not maybe talk to anybody. Maybe you want to indulge in some really sappy or sad movies or really read some sad books. You just want to kind of be sad sometimes and on your own. When we're angry, we might want to lash out. We might want to say things that later we regret or feel like, oh, I maybe shouldn't have said that or done that. When we're feeling anxious, we often want to avoid things. So whenever I hear about people avoiding things, I always say, so where's the anxiety in that? Because anxiety and avoidance go everywhere together. They're like the best of friends. So we want to avoid what makes us feel anxious. If we're in love, we want to spend as much time as we can with that person, right? We might want to really throw ourselves into this romantic idea. So there's lots of different action urges that come with emotions. So here's the thing though, is sometimes if we follow those action urges, they're not actually the best thing for us to do. So for example, if I'm feeling kind of anxious and I decide to quit coming to work or quit going to the store because I'm anxious about what might be there, then I'm going to be in my home and maybe lead to some long-term effects that aren't as helpful for me. So the idea of opposite action is being able to identify what is the emotion I'm having, what is the urge that this emotion is leading me to, and is this good for me or not? So there's some steps that come with opposite action. So the first is you have to be able to identify that you are having an emotion that is leading to a specific urge. So taking some time to be really mindful about what am I experiencing emotionally? What am I feeling? And what is that emotion telling me to do or not to do? And is that going to be helpful for me? So being able to really sit and be mindful, what is my body feeling? What am I telling myself? What are my emotions saying to me right now? Being able to label your emotion and then label what is that emotion telling me to do. So that's like step number one. Step number two is asking yourself a couple of questions. Number one, does this emotion fit the facts? Have I just experienced a loss and maybe this is why I'm feeling sad and I'm grieving, and so that makes sense that I'm feeling this way? Or not? Am I experiencing an emotion just because I kind of woke up and am feeling this way? So does it fit the facts or not? Is the first question. And the second question is acting on this urge effective for me? Is it going to be helpful for me? Is it going to get me to where I want to be? So you got to ask yourself those two questions. And if either of the answers to those questions are no, it doesn't fit the facts, or maybe it fits the facts, but it's not going to be effective for me, then use opposite action. Do exactly the opposite of what that urge is telling you to do. If you are feeling anxious and you want to avoid and isolate, switch it around and go full in with doing what is making you feel anxious, for example. If you are feeling angry and you really want to write a snide email to that person or a text post something that, maybe on social media that won't be very good long term, but it really would give into that good urge right then, do the exact opposite. Maybe lavish somebody in compliments even if you don't really feel it. Because the idea is that if you do opposite action, you will begin to lift yourself out of that feeling and not dive so far into it. And the key here is making sure that when you do opposite action, you go full in. You are committing to engaging that opposite action in a way that will hopefully change your emotional state, whether it be lessening the intensity of it or shifting it altogether, or at least helping you take steps and behave in ways that are more in line with the goals that you have for yourself. So that's a skill of opposite action. You can take a look at Marshall Linehan's exploration of dialectical behavior therapy and these different skills that are out there. But opposite action is one that you might want to use for some emotional regulation or to just kind of change the way that you're experiencing emotions in that moment. That's all for now. Take care.